So what makes good sex?
Well, good sex has a lot of different components. It's not just one. It's not one thing that makes good sex. It's a lot of different things that take place.
Well, from a male's perspective, good sex to me, it gotta be, first of all, sex is more mental than physical. Then, when you get to the actual physical part, it gotta be the wetness. You know what I'm saying? It gotta feel like I'm swimming, I'm swimming in the Niagara Falls. Then it gotta be the warmth, it gotta be the warmth. Like, I'm in a blanket, I'm snuggled up in a blanket. It's like I'm snuggled up in a blanket. Then it gotta be the tightness, like the sugar walls is cuddling me. It's like a cuddle buddy. So it's the wetness, the warmth, and the tightness that makes great sex. And of course, the chemistry. The chemistry got to be on point. I got to be into Shorty, and Shorty got to be into me. But it's those key opponents that makes good to great sex. What do you think?
No, I totally agree. It's those key components that make great sex. The one thing that I do definitely agree is more mental than physical, right? Because you have to massage a woman's mind first. It's all about how you caress her brain and make her feel that she's special. It's not just about physical because I mean, physical is easy. Like that's, not something difficult to achieve. You could easily find someone that you're physically attracted to. But when it comes to great sex, it also is mental, and that's where the complicated part comes in. You have to make her feel special, and there's lots of different ways to do that.
So, what was the difference between you playing with yourself to get an orgasm when we had sex to you just allowing me to just, you know what I'm saying, making you get that nut when I get in that snappy, nappy dugout? You didn't have to touch yourself anymore. You could just let me do my thing. So, what was the difference?
The difference is just timing, I guess. After a certain period of time, you kind of understand what your partner is offering. And, the other thing is sometimes you try different things. You wanted to try something new, something different, something that you thought would be helpful or meaningful in the experience. But, everything that you try to for the experience is not necessarily always going to be a good thing or necessarily add to the experience. Sometimes it just lets you know that maybe you want to go a different direction.
So you had to get to know my bod, my touches, my feels. First, you had to get familiar with me first before you become comfortable, before you submit, before you give in to my touches, to my swerve, to my motion. You had to be comfortable with me because it's all about the comfort level. Because if a woman is not comfortable with a man, then she's not going to achieve that almighty she's not going to get that nut. She's not going to get that orgasm. She's not going to get that sexual fulfillment if she's not comfortable with the man who she's having sex with. Is otherwise it just she's just having sex. It's not intimacy. That's the difference between sex and intimacy. When you having sex with somebody, it just it's like a sport. It's just a physical participation. But when you're intimate with somebody, you're exploring that person. You're exploring the ins and out of that person. You may feel something that you never felt before, or you may feel something that brings you to a place of comfort. Brings you to a place of a source of pleasure. You feel me? So that's the difference between sex and intimacy. Do you agree with that?
I totally agree with that. I agree that intimacy is something different than total sex, and sex is something that is an amazing experience, but without the intimacy, it doesn't mean it's not meaningful. And intimacy comes from, like we said, psychological, right? Intimacy comes from how you feel about the person that you're experiencing the sex with. So, sex is easy. You can have sex with numerous people. But intimacy and actually having that fulfillment in the whole experience, that makes a really big difference.
So what about kissing? Does kissing play a big part into intimacy?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, many of us will have, I'm sure I speak for many women when I say you have had relationships with men for which you didn't even, you would not kiss them because kissing made it more personal, more intimate. But you might have just had sex. Now, that could be sometimes easier if you, because you're not giving as much of yourself. But kissing does say a lot. Kissing does add intimacy, and kissing is very personal.
What about oral sex? Is does oral sex also plays a key ingredient into intimacy?
No, I
Why,
don't think
why
so.
not?
I just, that's a personal opinion. I just don't feel like oral sex is necessarily means intimacy. You could have sex and have oral sex, and I think kissing is still more intimate than oral sex.
So oral sex is more or less the ingredient that you necessarily don't need to cook, but it's like a good add-on. It's like the cherry on top. You know, you don't need the cherry on top. You just good with the cake and the ice cream and the icing on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a matter of personal preference. I mean, there are some people who feel like that is everything, that is the world, that is what they want. They have to have it, and that is, and then others feel differently. It really, that is something that's very personal, and it really depends on the person who is having it.
It's like how people could eat macaroni and cheese with milk, and then you have people who don't need milk to eat their macaroni and cheese. But when I'm in a pussy, the pussy gonna squish squash like macaroni and cheese. They're gonna make that squish squash sound. You dig? When I'm in them guts. You did to get that nut, but you did. You're gonna make that mac and cheese sound, right? Like that. You know what I'm talking about. But anyway, but I just wanted to get a woman's perspective about great sex. What makes great sex? What makes your toes curl? What makes your toes throw up gang signs? What makes your toes throw up sign languages? You know what I'm saying? Like you communicating in another language with your toes when he hit that spot. He hits your A B C D E F G H I J K elemental P spot. You dig? You
I
know,
feel you.
like listen, he didn't say LMNOP. He said elemental P. That's how good the sex is. You know what I'm saying? He took it back to kindergarten. Make you feel something, the first time you went to kindergarten and you was nervous. You had them butterflies. That's how good the sex gotta be, baby. You know what I'm saying? Make you feel them butterflies. You dig?
I dig.
You dig? And on that note, yes, this has been another episode of Swingers After Dark, and this is your host, Nasun, baby. Check out my website at www.nasunblaze.com. That's www.nahsunblaze.com. And check out my ebook, You, Me, Us, Them, The Swinger Manifesto. It's on Nook, Kindle, iBooks, Google Play. Go get it. And also check me out on various social media sites. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Snapchat. I'm on Tumblr. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Google. Just Google me, baby. You dig? Ow. And on that note, until next time, it's not good sex until, you say hallelujah. Peace.